There's a bloodline in the NBA that nobody talks about. A warrior gene that's been hiding in plain sight for decades, running through the veins of champions, clutch shooters, and defensive monsters. It doesn't come from the usual basketball factories. It doesn't get analyzed on ESPN. And most fans have no idea it even exists. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. The island of Jamaica, a nation of just under 3 million people, has quietly infiltrated the highest level of basketball on Earth, and the players carrying this heritage aren't just role players or bench warmers. They're all-stars. They're champions. They're the ones hitting daggers in the playoffs while the world watches. And here's the thing that'll blow your mind. Most of you have been cheering for Jamaican blood this entire time without even knowing it. You've watched them drain game winners, lock down superstars, and hoist championship trophies, all while that Caribbean warrior spirit coursed through every move they made. So what is it about this tiny island that produces such an outsized impact on basketball? How did a nation famous for Usain Bolt's lightning speed and Bob Marley's rhythms become a secret pipeline for NBA greatness? The answer is deeper than genetics. It's about culture, about struggle, about a mentality forged in a place where you either fight for everything or you get nothing. And today, you're about to discover 15 players whose Jamaican roots run so deep, it explains everything about their game. From household names you never connected to the island, to rising stars who are carrying the torch right now, this list will completely change how you watch basketball. Let's start with the man who's making it impossible to ignore. Norman Powell, the LA Clippers guard whose explosive scoring and mid-range assassin reputation has him ranked among the top 50 players in the league right now. But here's what separates Powell from every other elite guard in the NBA. He's not just playing for a max contract and championship rings. Norman Powell is suiting up for Team Jamaica in FIBA World Cup pre-qualifiers, actively representing the island on the international stage. Think about that for a second. An NBA starter, making millions, choosing to spend his off-season building Jamaica's basketball program from the ground up. He's not doing promotional appearances or Instagram posts with a flag emoji. He's actually in uniform, running plays, trying to put Jamaica on the basketball map the same way the island dominates track and field. Powell isn't Jamaican by convenience or distant ancestry. This is his identity. And when you watch him attack the basket with that relentless aggression, that refusal to back down from anyone, you're watching generations of island toughness compressed into every step. He's told reporters that representing Jamaica means more to him than most people understand, that it's about honoring where his family came from and showing the world that Caribbean hoopers belong at every level of this game. But if Powell is building the future, Jamal Murray already cemented the legacy. The Denver Nuggets point guard whose ice-cold veins carried his team to an NBA championship. Murray is Canadian by birth, but ask him where that killer instinct comes from, where he learned to stay calm when the pressure could crush most players, and he'll point you straight to his Jamaican parents. They raised him with island discipline, with the kind of values that don't let you quit when things get hard, that teach you to create something from nothing. And Murray took those lessons all the way to the top of the basketball world. But championship rings weren't enough for him. During his off-seasons, Jamal Murray runs youth basketball camps in Montego Bay, working directly with Jamaican kids who dream of following his path. He's not just making appearances. He's coaching, teaching, showing them the fundamentals that turned him into an NBA champion. Because Murray understands something crucial. Jamaica's basketball talent isn't a coincidence. It's untapped potential waiting for the right infrastructure and inspiration. And every time he steps on that court in Montego Bay, he's planting seeds for a future where Jamaican kids don't just dream about the NBA, they expect to get there. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The next generation is already here, and they're carrying that Jamaican DNA into the future of the league. Thompson, the Houston Rockets' explosive two-way force whose ceiling might be higher than anyone wants to admit right now. Amen plays with a controlled chaos that's mesmerizing to watch, the kind of athlete who can guard multiple positions and attack the rim like it owes him money. And yes, he's got Jamaican lineage flowing through him. But he's not alone. His twin brother, Thompson, is right there with him, bringing that same defensive intensity and basketball IQ to Detroit. Two twins, both carrying island heritage, both projected to be cornerstones of NBA franchises for the next decade. Their father, Troy Thompson, isn't quiet about his Jamaican roots either. He's actively planning infrastructure projects in Jamaica, specifically in the western parishes where his family originated. We're talking about building basketball courts, creating programs, investing real money into developing the next wave of talent. This isn't charity or goodwill PR. This is a man who understands that his son's success is directly connected to the culture that shaped his family, and he's determined to give back in a way that creates lasting change. And if you think this is just a modern phenomenon, a recent trend of players discovering their roots, let me take you back. Because the Jamaican influence in the NBA goes deeper than most fans realize, and it starts with names you definitely know but never connected to the island. Tristan Thompson. Yes, that Tristan Thompson, the bruising center who battled in the trenches during Cleveland's championship run, who's made over $100 million in his career, who became a tabloid fixture for his personal life. Both of his parents are Jamaican. That toughness, that willingness to do the dirty work in the paint while stars get the glory, that's not just personality. That's island mentality. When you grow up in a culture that teaches you to fight for every inch, to never back down no matter who's in front of you, it shows up in how you play basketball. Thompson's rebounding instincts, his physicality, his refusal to be moved off his spot, all of that traces back to lessons learned from Jamaican parents who didn't raise soft kids. Then there's R.J. Barrett, one of the smoothest young scorers in the league right now, whose left-handed drives and scoring versatility make him must-watch basketball. Barrett reps Canada hard, but his Jamaican heritage isn't some distant footnote. His father, Rowan Barrett, is Jamaican, and that connection shaped everything about how RJ approaches the game. The confidence, the swagger, the belief that he belongs on the same court as anyone, that comes from growing up immersed in a culture that doesn't do self-doubt. Barrett has talked about how Jamaican music filled his house growing up, how cookouts and family gatherings were steeped in island traditions, how that environment taught him to play with joy and fire at the same time. And when you watch him attack the basket, you can see it. There's a rhythm to his game, a creativity that doesn't come from textbook coaching. It comes from culture. If you've been enjoying this deep dive into the hidden Jamaican dynasty shaping the NBA, do me a favor right now. Hit that subscribe button so we can reach 20,000 subscribers together. We're building something special here, uncovering the stories that mainstream basketball coverage ignores, and I need you on this journey with us. And after you subscribe, drop a comment telling me which player on this list surprised you the most, or if you've got Jamaican heritage yourself. Let me know how it feels to see your culture represented at the highest level of hoops. All right, let's keep going because we're just getting started. Andrew Nicholson is a name that might not ring bells for casual fans, but his story is incredible. A 7-footer who didn't just play in the NBA, he graduated with a degree in physics. Let that sink in. This man was solving complex equations and battling NBA centers at the same time. And yes, he's Jamaican, which proves something important. The island doesn't just produce athletes, it produces thinkers, people who approach challenges with intelligence and determination. Nicholson's game was built on fundamentals and high basketball IQ, the kind of player who succeeded by outthinking opponents as much as outplaying them. Then you've got Ashi Brissett, the Energizer Bunny forward whose defensive tenacity makes him valuable on any roster. Brissett plays bigger than his size, diving for loose balls, taking charges, doing all the thankless work that wins games but doesn't fill highlight reels. That hustle, that refusal to take plays off, that's Jamaican work ethic personified. He was raised with the understanding that talent gets you in the door, but effort keeps you in the room. And we can't forget the family lineage that's doubling down on Jamaican excellence. Amen and Osar Thompson aren't just brothers. They're proof that this heritage breeds a specific kind of basketball brilliance. Their father's commitment to developing courts and programs in Jamaica shows that this isn't about individual success. It's about building a legacy, about creating a path for the next kid in Kingston or Montego Bay who picks up a basketball and dares to dream bigger than their circumstances. Then there's Andrew Nembhard, the Indiana Pacers' steady point guard whose calm decision-making and poise under pressure scream veteran maturity despite his age. His father, Claude, is Jamaican, and that influence shows in how Andrew plays. No panic, no wasted motion, just intelligent basketball executed with precision. It's the kind of game that reflects cultural values. Patience, discipline, making the right play even when the flashy option is available. But let's rewind to where this whole story truly began. Before the modern stars, before the social media era, before any of this was cool or recognized, there was Patrick Ewing. Born in Kingston, Jamaica, raised in Cambridge, Massachusetts, a Hall of Famer, 11-time All-Star, Olympic gold medalist, over $100 million earned in his playing career alone. Patrick Ewing didn't just make it to the NBA. He became one of the most dominant centers in the history of basketball, anchoring the New York Knicks through their most competitive era in decades. And everything about his game, that physicality, that intimidating presence, that refuse-to-lose mentality, traces back to his Jamaican roots. Ewing has spoken about how difficult the transition was, moving from warm Kingston to freezing Massachusetts, how kids made fun of his accent, how he had to fight, literally fight, to earn respect. But those struggles shaped him. They taught him that nothing comes easy, that you earn everything through toughness and perseverance. And when he stepped on an NBA court, all of that childhood adversity became fuel. He dominated because he'd already survived harder battles than anything a basketball game could throw at him. Following Ewing came others who carved their own paths. Nick Richards, the 7-foot center from Kingston, currently holding it down for the Charlotte Hornets. Richards has that classic big man game, soft touch around the rim, rebounding instincts, the ability to alter shots without gambling. He returned to Jamaica during his off-season, reconnecting with childhood friends and the courts where his journey began, reminding himself why he plays and who he represents every time he steps on an NBA floor. Then there's Samardo Samuels from Trelawney, a powerful forward whose NBA career was brief but whose story matters. He came from small courts in Jamaica and battled giants in the league, proving that even a short NBA stint represents something bigger. Possibility, representation, proof that the path exists. Kofi Cockburn is another mountain of a man, born in Kingston and built like he was engineered in a lab to dominate the paint. Now with the Utah Jazz, Cockburn is showing that traditional big men with island roots can thrive in the modern, pace and space NBA. His physicality, his refusal to be moved, his willingness to set bone-crushing screens, all of that comes from a culture that teaches you to stand your ground no matter what. Add Rumeal Robinson to that list, the clutch hero of Michigan's 1989 NCAA championship, who carried his Jamaican DNA all the way to the pros. Robinson hit 2 free throws with 3 seconds left to win a national title, the kind of pressure moment that either breaks you or defines you. He didn't flinch. That's island mentality. Then you've got guys like Kimani Friend, Omar Cook, and Jerome Rankin, players whose NBA careers might not dominate history books, but whose contributions built the foundation for everyone who came after. They proved it was possible. They opened doors. They showed Jamaican kids that this dream wasn't fantasy, it was achievable. Now here's the part that's going to blow your mind, the revelation that connects all of this in a way you never expected. Jamaica has a population of just 2.8 million people. To put that in perspective, that's smaller than the city of Chicago. It's a tiny island nation, and yet, when you look at the per capita production of NBA talent, Jamaica punches so far above its weight class it's almost statistically absurd. Think about it. 15 players with direct Jamaican heritage in a league of 450. That means this tiny island, with limited basketball infrastructure, no major college pipeline, and a sports culture dominated by track and field, is producing NBA talent at a rate that rivals or exceeds countries with 10 times the population and 100 times the resources. But here's the real secret, and this is what nobody talks about. The same genetic and cultural factors that make Jamaica the sprint capital of the world, the fast-twitch muscle fiber dominance, the explosive power, the mental toughness required to perform under pressure, all of that translates directly to basketball. These players aren't just skilled, they're wired differently. They've got the speed to guard multiple positions, the explosiveness to finish above the rim, and the mental fortitude to hit shots when everything is on the line. It's not a coincidence. It's biology and culture combining in a way that creates a specific type of athlete. And what makes this even more remarkable is that most of these players faced exponentially harder paths to the NBA than their American-born counterparts. They didn't grow up with AAU circuits and elite training facilities. They didn't have scouts watching them since middle school. Many of them learned the game on rough outdoor courts with uneven surfaces and bent rims, developing skills in environments that would have broken lesser players. That adversity became their advantage. It made them tougher, more creative, more resilient. So when they finally got their shot at the highest level, they were already battle-tested in ways that suburban basketball academies could never replicate. What does all of this mean for the future? It means we're just seeing the beginning. As Jamaica continues to invest in basketball infrastructure, as more players like Norman Powell and Jamal Murray create pathways and visibility, as the Thompson family builds courts and programs, the pipeline is only going to grow stronger. 10 years from now, we could be looking at a Jamaican-born NBA All-Star. 20 years from now, a Jamaican MVP isn't out of the question. The foundation is already there. The talent has always been there. It just needed recognition, resources, and role models. And now it has all three. So the next time someone tells you Jamaica is only about track and field, about Usain Bolt and beach resorts and reggae music, you set them straight. Tell them to check the NBA rosters. Tell them to watch Norman Powell explode to the rim. Tell them to remember Jamal Murray's championship poise. Tell them Patrick Ewing's Hall of Fame legacy started in Kingston. Tell them the Thompson twins are just getting started. Tell them that this tiny island has been shaping basketball greatness for decades, and most fans never even noticed. Jamaica isn't just in the game. Jamaica is the game, and the game is undeniably better because of it. Now it's your turn. Drop your favorite Jamaican NBA star in the comments right now. Tell me who surprised you most on this list. If you've got Jamaican heritage, let me know what this representation means to you. And if you learned something today, if this changed how you see the NBA, smash that like button and share this video with every basketball fan you know. This is the kind of story that deserves to be told, retold, and celebrated. Subscribe to Current Scope Daily because we're not done uncovering the hidden narratives that make basketball more than just a game. We're building a community of fans who want the real stories, the deep cuts, the connections that mainstream coverage misses. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's keep discovering greatness together. The bloodline is real. The Warriors are here, and now you know exactly where they came from.